Welcome to Spitfire. I'm Sparky878, and I'm putting your favorite players in the hot seat. Today, joining me, a Canadian local, the BCS Season 0 winner, an amazing 2v2 player, an amazing 1v1 player, 30th in the PR if I'm not mistaken.
29th.
29th?
29.
Oh, you must have moved up then.
Yeah.
They hadn't updated the website.
Wait, it might be 30th.
Okay, the website says 30th.
Okay.
But that voice you just heard is Pugsy. Thanks for joining me today. How are you with hot food?
I don't know. I don't really have a scale to go off of, but...
That usually means you're probably pretty bad with hot food.
Okay. But I think I'm okay.
So,
we'll see.
do you ever go out and get wings? And,
Yeah, all
do
the time.
Do you crank the...
Mostly just like a lot of like Asian spicy. That's what I like.
Okay, all right.
I think I'll be okay.
We don't have too much Asian spicy in here. We have some like Mediterranean and some like Hawaiian, but nothing Asian. I wish we had Asian, because like when you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I get Asian thing and like one other flavor, but Asian thing every time. We're going to go ahead and get into the first one. It's the classic, super easy, just traditional buffalo sauce. You're the dog A on Reddit and Pugsy on most other platforms. What was the last name that you had before you chose Pugsy? Did you have like a really young, edgy kid name?
I think you know the story, and that's why you asked me that. But the story goes, I used to be a Smite player back in the day. I had a really stupid name because I was really young. It was The Bomb 2012. That was like 5 years ago. I was 12 years old. And then I met a guy named Pug Kitty. And he's like, I'll give you money if you change your name to Pug the Bombsy. I was like, okay. And everybody calls me Pugsy since then. And then I don't know, kind of just stuck.
But you've been the Pugsy on virtually every platform though, like on Twitter, on Twitch, everything on that. So the name Pugsy came from Pug the Bombsy, and then people just shortened that to Pugsy?
Yeah,
all right.
Pretty much.
We're going to move on to the next one. This one's one of my favorites. It's a really thin sauce, but it's a tasty sauce. Now, you regularly tweet about major sporting events, from like McGregor and Mayweather to soccer to a ton about basketball. You regularly wear Raptors gear. So it shows that you have like a love of just sports in general, even extending to things like the Dota International. Where does your passion for sports and esports come from?
I don't know. I think I've always just been kind of like a competitive guy and always looking for something, I don't know, competitive, I guess. So like one of the things I can kind of relate to is like basketball and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just really like competition in general and just watching people beat each other up.
Do you play basketball?
No.
What stopped you from playing basketball?
I don't know. I've never been a basketball guy. I played a lot of soccer because I'm Israeli, and that's what people do in Israel. But that's mostly the sports I played.
Is your family like super into sports?
Yeah, they've got me into sports in general.
Do they like basketball too? Because you mostly tweet about basketball.
They really like basketball as well. Big Raptors fans.
Okay. Is that just because of where you live, or
pretty
the players?
Much. It's because of where I live.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next one. Chiba Gold. One of my favorite ones to say. Also a really good sauce.
Looks cool.
So a direct quote from you is people literally try harder in ranked than they do at BCX. Explain the ranked landscape when you're at your level, because it's not like you're just queuing in to like top 8 placements, top 16 placements. Like you're queuing in to the ranked warrior. The ranked warrior. What is a ranked warrior to you?
Well, there's one particular player on the leaderboards that got his Azoth elo to about 2600 and now refuses to play Azoth and only plays other characters. And basically what I mean by that is people play ranked, to gain elo. And what I mean by that is they just play to win instead of playing to improve. And that's why they're going to have 2600 elo, but they're just going to suck. They go into tournaments, You see it all the time. They go into tournaments, they're like, oh, I'm going to top 8 because my elo is 2600. You get like 45th, and you're like, I wonder why.
So without naming any names, Do you have any like specific people that you really want to stay away from in ranked?
Ooh, in ranked?
Like obviously there's a type
Yeah.
of player, but is there any like one guy? Like for me, it was Wilson for a while, and Wilson would snipe me in ranked while I was streaming years and years ago. But like running into Wilson in ranked, I mean, I don't know if you would watch me, but I wanted to. Well, I didn't have any hair to pull out, but I wanted to pull out my theoretical hair. Are there any players out there that when you queue into them, even if you have like an amazing winning record against them, are you like, oh crap, here's 6 minutes of my life that I'm never gonna get back?
I think the most scary people are the ones with bad internet connection, because you can't see them a lot of the time. Like there's a lot of players I know down south in Mexico that queue a lot of ranked, and it's like every time I play them, it's like they're just teleporting everywhere. And even though I don't lose that much, it's just like, not that fun to play.
It is cool that we have a Mexican scene, though. Like, I run into a lot of players who have, like, the Mexican flag and usually say words to me in Spanish afterwards. Mostly mean words in Spanish. But that's cool that we have a Mexican Brawlhalla community, as well as, like, obviously we have the Portuguese and all the Brazil guys down there that play on those servers. But it is cool that we have that. As annoying as some players can be.
No, I agree for sure.
All right, this next segment, we call it social studies because we take a magnifying glass and we look through your social media. You don't have a lot of social media, or at least that I can find. Yeah. Couldn't find Facebook, couldn't find an Instagram. Obviously, we know your Twitter.
I don't have any of those things, so I'd hope you wouldn't find them.
But we have a couple things that might need a little bit more context. If anyone that's following me did the Ontario literacy test, did y'all put the black horses or the student application answer for that stupid question?
Okay.
What is this question? Do you remember?
I remember vaguely.
Okay.
So what I do, so for those of you that don't know, you do need to take that test and pass it in order to graduate. You take it in 10th grade, and basically what they try to do is they try to test if you can read and write. But a lot of the questions were just like really, really, really dumb questions that are like pretty much meant to trick you. So I believe it was in reference to one of those. I don't remember the exact question. I just remember it being like a really big thing online in the area, and nobody knew what the correct answer was.
So there was no one that was like, oh, this is what I put, and here's the reason why, and you were like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, like literally nobody knew.
Did you get like test results back that told you what the answer was?
We got test results back, but we didn't get like the...
Oh, it just told you like a score?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, if anybody out there knows, I'm curious as well, because I want to know what the question was. Now, before we go to the next one, we need to grab this wing. This is Adobo Loco. This is a Hawaiian-inspired one. You're going to get some pineapple in there. Now, you also tweeted, what do eyebrows do? Did you ever look that up? Did you find out?
Yeah. I kind of thought about it, and I think it's something to do with stuff getting in your eyes. I think they protect stuff from falling into your eyes.
I mean, it would make sense if like stuff is up here and it's sliding down your forehead. Like this is an area, like even if it's water, it's going to catch here, and the surface tension and all the science, it's not going to go down into your eye.
It's such like an odd like evolutionary thing.
Yeah, because
everybody has eyebrows.
We evolved from, I don't know if I'm using the right word for this, monkeys or apes or I don't know. We evolved from one of those things where they have hair like all over, and obviously we lost the hair, some of the hair. Why did we not lose specifically right here? We lost hair here.
Guess they're that important. If you don't have them, you're not worthy.
You opened my eyes with that one. Yeah. That's interesting because I didn't look it up. I was hoping you had the answer for that. Now I have a picture right here. Now you tweeted that out with the title "King of the North." At that time, you were the highest grossing in terms of winnings Canadian player out there. Over Kostelix, over Dime, over iThrow, over Kui, over all of the other Canadian top players. Since Shine, Kostelix took that back over. And not by much. It's like a few $100s. Now, do you hope to retake the throne in your home country here at Dreamhack Montreal?
Well, of course I do. You have to keep in mind, it's also his home country.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Montreal is it's kind of weird because you come here and it's like I'm in Canada, but I'm not in Canada. It's nothing like I'm used to, and I don't even consider it the same country, you know? It's so different, the people are so different, not even the same language, you know? So, but I'm gonna try and win.
So you have the pressure of the home on your back, the home team on your back, but you also feel like you're at an away game.
Yeah. Kinda.
So it's like the worst and best of both worlds, sort of in this sense. Now we also have another picture.
Yeah, I do recognize that one.
Tell me what's going on in that picture.
Okay. So this is at BCX 2017. I was top 8 in 1v1s after basically a year of hardly playing the game. And there's a 257th place in there in the Brawlhalla Spring Championship. Okay, the story behind that one is I signed up and I didn't play. I DQ'd. And then a certain production member decided we don't have enough on him, so we're going to put a disqualification under his resume for BCX 2017.
Now, I think, I can't remember if I've told you this, but that's partially my fault. Because before every tournament, I have a spreadsheet of people, and I have all their placements and who they lost to and the characters that they reported playing. So I had you on there as 256th or 257th. So when this member of BMG, who shall still remain nameless, was grabbing for things, he was grabbing from my spreadsheet. So I'll take a little bit of the blame for that, but that was so funny because it came up and people didn't notice it straight away. And I think I was the first person to point it out. I was like, "Look at his player card, 256th place, what?" And everyone just started busting out laughing. It was so funny.
I was looking at it, I was like, who smeared my name like this? Like, this isn't me. Although there was a 65th place in there, and I didn't know I did that bad, ever.
But you also had some good placements on there, and good placements in BCX as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't sweat it. I don't know if you still lose sleep at night over that, but I wouldn't sweat it now. We're going to move on to the next one. This is Los Calientes. Even though summer is now over and we're into autumn, I guess. That's the next one, right?
Yeah. I didn't know summer was over.
It's September. I think it ends. I don't know.
I think like later in September.
September 21st is the end of summer? What? I didn't know that. I live in Louisiana, so it's like summer until December 24th.
We know this.
We're going to go into the next one. How you feel about that one?
That one actually wasn't bad at all.
How you feeling about the sauces so far? No sweat?
I felt like the one before this one was spicier than this one.
Okay.
It's a lot to do with the taste, I think, though.
Los Calientes is usually a favorite of a lot of people. I like it a lot. It has a lot of flavor.
That one's good.
Now, it's safe to say that you're a big Kanye West fan.
Yeah.
His music, not really the other stuff that Kanye is known for. Is it true that you did a March Madness bracket with Kanye songs?
I did do that. It's on my Twitter.
Now, your final four was All Falls Down, Jesus Walks, Never Let Me Down, and Dark Fantasy. Do you remember what you put at number one?
I put Jesus Walks.
You did put Jesus Walks. Rank your top 5 Kanye projects.
Projects. Okay. I'm going to go top to bottom because that's just easier. My favorite one is pretty clearly College Dropout. I just think that's his best one. I think after, I'd say Late Registration. I think that one's just a bit better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And then after that, it gets tough. That's like the clear top 3. But I think after, I might have to go Life of Pablo. It's just so ridiculous.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume Kids See Ghosts doesn't count.
No, it does.
It does count.
It does.
So
I consider that definitely a Kanye project.
So yeah, I definitely put that as 5th. I love that album.
What if that didn't count?
If that didn't count? Oh, that's so hard. I think I'd say Yeezus. I think I'd say Yeezus. Definitely not my favorite one, but I think it's better than the rest of what he has.
Was the Yandhi leak real?
I haven't listened to it.
I haven't either because I just assumed that it was BS.
Yeah.
And I figured I was going to go through a bunch of like YouTube videos where people call it a Yandhi leak and it's their own crappy music.
I was fairly sure it's not real, but I know there are like a lot of Kanye leaks coming out recently, but I don't think they're Yandhi leaks.
Do you think Yandhi is ever going to come out?
No. It's going to be a different project.
I would not bet against you on that
Yeah.
one. All right, we're going to go to the next one. This is another Adobo Loco. This one's Kalohe Kid. We're going to be kicking up the heat a little bit more. That's this one right here.
Yeah.
Now, before Brawlhalla, you had a career in Smite. Tell us about your time as a Smite pro. When did that start? And what was it like when you realized, like, I'm actually, like, really, really good at this game?
So, when I started, I was actually a little kid. I think I was 10 years old the first time I launched Smite. And I think by the time I hit top rank, I was 11. Back in the day, I was a really scared little kid. You know, scared of the internet and stuff.
As you should be.
Yeah, as I should be. And I told everybody I didn't have a mic. And this was literally up until about I was 13, where I told everybody I was 15. I was still a squeaker when I was 13. Nobody believed I was 15. What can you do? But I think Smite in general was really fun. There were some interesting moments, like me missing a week of a league and my entire team getting banned for match fixing. But that's a different story. But it kind of just taught me how to play video games. You know, that was like my first big video game, and then after that, obviously, started playing Brawlhalla, and cool stuff.
So you mentioned that team. How did you actually go about getting on that team?
Oh,
like how did that all work back then?
So I met this guy. His name was Drelo. If you're listening, I doubt you are, but if you are, what's up? He basically found me in a ranked game, and I don't know, we just became friends, He invited me to his clan and stuff. The team was called Disney Princesses. I don't remember what Disney Princess I was, but I do remember that. But yeah, we kind of just, climbed the ranks together and stuff, and we found other people, and we formed a team.
So that taught you to play at a really high level, to keep up with it in a game that changes regularly with patch updates, and all of that. That was good experience for Brawlhalla, yeah?
Yeah. And I remember also taught me time management, because after dinner, I'd have to run downstairs because we had 7 p.m. scrims, and I had to scrim all the way until 11 p.m., which my parents weren't happy about at the time. But, I shouldn't do ridiculous stuff like that.
So then how is that different for Brawlhalla, where it's not a team sport? You don't necessarily have someone saying, all right, we're scrimming at this time, everybody get together here. Brawlhalla as a fighting game, that's more driven by you.
Yeah. Brawlhalla, when I first started, it was a lot of grinding. But now, for some people that stuff kind of works, but I don't know. I feel nowadays that I should just, play when I feel like I'm playing well and I can actually have an opportunity to improve. When in MOBAs, it's usually just grind. You have scrims at this time every day. But in Brawlhalla, you can kind of take breaks. Breaks have helped me a lot, and I just think it's a bit more casual, but still, you still got to keep up.
So we're gonna keep up with the rest of these wings. We're gonna move on to the next one. We're on to Apocalypse Now. I think that's what it's called. Honestly, I always forget this. Zombie Apocalypse Sauce.
It's a good movie, though.
It is. I know you really like Apocalypse Now. There was a phase where you were tweeting, but nothing but Apocalypse Now is amazing.
One of my favorites.
Even though you're young, you've been around in the Brawlhalla scene for a long time. You won the original Brawlhalla Championship Series back in 2016, referred to as BCS Season 0, an unofficial 4-week tournament put on by me, Duke, and White Sheepy in our bedrooms that helped lead to the first official esports season. Explain the landscape of Brawlhalla esports then compared to what it is now.
At the time, there weren't really even European tournaments. That wasn't really a developed scene. So if you're a European and you want to play in tournaments, you had to play North America in order to play with the best players. So that was definitely a different thing at the time. I know Daiku was basically undefeated. He was the best player for basically since the game's release, up until that moment, as a European player. I do remember the qualifiers. I think back in the day there was a player named Pickle Potatoes, the OG Brax. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He's a cool guy.
Fond memories of Pickle Potatoes.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's a good kid. There were also a lot of other players. A player by the name Beta. You remember him. Mm-hmm. Also, there were clans were a big deal. Yeah. That was some territorial stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody was you got to get in a clan, and you got to improve with them. But people sucked.
The game was young.
Yeah. You watch those tournaments over again. We sucked, but the game was young, as you said. People are getting better, LDZ lost that tournament, and then he didn't lose ever again, which was upsetting.
So compare that to now. How do clans play a role? Is everyone that much better than they were then, or is the game just different now? How is that compared to now?
No, if you're like a lower level player, low diamond or something, you can join a clan. They can help you improve and stuff. It's still good practice and stuff like that.
So that kind of carries over into the next one. You mentioned Daiku in BCS Season 0. You came out on top, beating Daiku. Now, you were asked on part of the Creed's Brawlhalla Weekly podcast if you felt you would dethrone Daiku as the reigning champ. Think about that as we take a bite out of this next wing. This is the bomb.
Not excited for this one.
You had the bomb in your name, so this one should be right up your alley. So you were asked if you felt you dethroned Daiku as the reigning champion at the time.
I take that back.
To which you responded, you didn't feel that way at all because it was online, Daiku was in another region, and that LAN would be the deciding factor. Then, at BCX that same year, you beat Daiku on LAN. Did that victory, specifically that one, feel important at the time? Did you feel like you finally dethroned Daiku?
Well, I dethroned Daiku, but he definitely wasn't king. LDZ was still far and away the best player at the time. In terms of dethroning Daiku, I didn't even know I had that mentality, before I even went to my first LAN. That's cool. I knew online didn't matter. Wow, this one's really...
Are you feeling alright?
A step up. I'm good.
You got plenty of milk there.
I was like, I'm going to destroy this, and then I got here, and
So how does your victory in BCS Season 0, one of the biggest tournaments at that time, compare to the victories that you get in LAN tournaments now? Not necessarily winning tournaments, but placing very high in extremely competitive tournaments, more competitive tournaments than we've ever seen in Brawlhalla's history.
I don't know. It was a big deal back then, but I guess the game was still young. We didn't really see LDZ coming.
You alright?
Yeah.
You sound like you're fading.
I'm okay.
Alright, we're going to move on to the next one. You made it through the hardest part.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
We both made it through the hardest part. Hellfire, fear this. This one's still really tough.
I think the problem I did with that one is that I took a side with a lot of sauce on it. I thought I was going to destroy it, to be honest.
That one's the Widowmaker. Whew, even I'm really starting to feel this.
Yeah.
I need to take a break. Go to the bathroom.
Sorry, Pugsy, you get it right.
I was so sure I had this, and then I got to that, and I was like, oh my god.
Gavin is able to help his sauces there.
Ready whenever?
We're on.
Sorry, boys. I couldn't handle it. I had to go to the bathroom in an emergency fashion. We're gonna try and pick these last ones up. Nah, fuck it. We're gonna roll it. Where's the wing before this?
No, I wasn't. We got it.
What do you mean we got it?
We ate it.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. Over the years, Even though you've proven yourself to be a very capable player, you still regularly, even as recent as Shine 2 weeks ago, talk about being nervous and anxious before tournaments. Is it different for Baggel tournaments versus seasonals versus LAN?
It's all the same to me. I don't know, no matter the arena, it's just, that's just the thing, You're always going to have it, I don't think I'm ever going to get over them. What matters is just how you deal with them, how you play through them. A lot of people crumble, I try my best not to do that, but, I do my best.
Does it start to subside at all? Like once the tournament starts going, or do you have to like have a crucial win to be like, okay, I can do this?
I feel like even if I have a really big lead, right before I'm about to win, those feelings kind of like creep up, like what if I lose, that'd be bad. But one thing I do try to do is like not have like predetermined like feelings about the game, It's not like, oh, I'm against like Sandstorm or Wrenched or something, like, oh, I'm gonna lose and then let's see who I have to play in loser bracket. I always try and take it, one step at a time. Try not to look too far ahead, but just do my best in the tournament. What happens, happens. Live with it.
Good advice in the game, good advice in life. And we're on the last one here. We call it the last dab because we like to put a little bit extra, that final little bit on the end. You don't have to do it.
I'm doing it.
Now the sauce is thick, so you got to be careful.
I don't know if I'm gonna put that much.
You have to shake it a little bit more than that. It's a very thick sauce. Get it on the wing, not the table. Bottoms up. Third with Fiend at CEO. One of the most competitive tournaments Brawlhalla has ever seen. Fourth with ERAM, the BCX, the World Championship in 2016. Not only have you played with multiple people whom you haven't practiced with, but Fiend is definitely more of a Portuguese speaker than an English speaker. What is it like playing with someone from another region?
It was really cool, actually, because obviously we couldn't communicate normally. Me and Fiend, of course, he doesn't speak very good English. He's getting better, though.
Yeah, we see him tweet in English every now and then for like big important announcements.
We used to use Google Translate to talk. I'd type in what I had to say, and he'd type it in. In terms of just cross-teaming, or like cross-region teaming in general, it was kind of like a little like new team boost you kind of get, Where you really do feel like you have nothing to lose. Like, there's no expectations for you. You have zero practice coming into the tournament besides the few warm-ups you're going to play before the tournament. Wow, this gets worse
kicking
later.
it up?
Yeah. But yeah, there's just like a certain kind of... You play a lot better when you have nothing to lose, You're just a lot less nervous. You go into every game, kind of not really expecting to win. Nobody really expects you to win. But if you're the better players, you're going to win.
All right, BCX Grand Finals this year, you can go in with Fiend at his peak or ERAM at his peak. Which one do you go in with?
You're putting me in a tough spot.
I am.
Because ERAM's like my best friend. I love him to death.
Shout out ERAM.
But I think Fiend's just the better twos player.
All right, well, you made it to the top of Spice Mountain.
Yeah.
You planted your flag saying, I conquered it. We had to take a little bit of a break, but that didn't slow you down whatsoever. In that camera, or in your own camera, or in the main camera, the floor is yours. Where can we find you? On Twitter, on Twitch? We want to see more Pugsy. How do we see more Pugsy?
So you can follow me on Twitter at PugsyXD. Same on Twitch. Show my boy Line. Show my boy ERAM. Show my boy PK. You're going to see some Thatch games. That's all I got. Everybody sucks.
Thanks for joining us here on Spitfire. I'm Sparky, and we'll see you next time.